Hello, everyone. I'm Kirtideva Peruman, holistic life coach from New Zealand, and today I have the honor of interviewing Ben Rumble, who is the owner of Wild Nature Clay. Why I'm doing this interview is simply because we are co-authors of the upcoming book called Inspired Creators, which is coming out on the 11th of November. I'm very honored to be the one who is interviewing Ben. Well, his full name is Benjamin, but I'll just lovingly call him Ben. He's the owner of the Wild Nature Clay. He's living his purpose as a ceramic artist, which he will tell us more a bit about, in the hinterland of Byron Bay, Australia. He develops and sells his own line of dinnerware and sculptural work from the wild clay he digs locally. I'm very curious about that. Also offer private clay lessons and workshop to the adults and children. I can go on and on about Ben, but you know what? I'm just going to leave the floor for him right now to introduce himself. So Ben, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you, Deva. So my name's Ben Ruble, and as was mentioned already, I'm a small business owner. I live here in Australia, in the Byron Bay area, in Mullumbimby to be specific. It's about 20 minutes off the coast, a beautiful rainforest area, and I've been here about 11 years now, and have worked really hard to establish myself with my wild nature clay business. And so I had the opportunity from my partner's friend who mentioned the book, and this was a few months ago, and it's been a really great honor, and it's been a lot of sort of new for me to be writing again and to have this opportunity to share my story about all the crazy things and all the good things that brought me here, and doing what I love to do in the Byron Shire. So it's a real honor, and I've had quite a rocky road getting here, but I don't know if that's a good enough start. I can go on and
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I feel that you just give it like a little, make us more curious about you, right? You talk about, I'm very interested in hearing about the creative things, like what guided you to become a ceramic artist? What's your journey like? Tell the people, tell everyone
Okay.
listening who's listening.
Well, thank you. I kind of like most of the things I wrote about in the book. I didn't really plan, in 1996 when I was a graduate student to become a school teacher. I was getting my master's in education. That's when I lived in America. I lived in Pennsylvania. When I was going to Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to become a teacher, and there was a semester where I needed to get like a side course, like an elective course, in order to maintain my my status as a graduate student. So I thought, oh look, I'll do something fun, and what I thought would just be, not too much mental work. So I took Pottery 101, and that was with a man named Matt Povsey, and I felt something right away about it that I knew I enjoyed, and I was always a creative person. I liked to draw and paint when I was younger, and there was something more hands-on about this, working with clay, and because I had a really good experience my first class, I just seemed to pick it up. I was good at it. A lot of the art students there didn't like me because who's this guy coming in? Who is this guy that he's not even an art student. He's not serious. And he's good at it suddenly. I didn't quite
Yeah.
thought, oh, I'm just, here to make friends with people, but I could feel this sort of sense of that a little bit. But once I
Yeah.
realized it was like, oh, well, that's too bad. I'm still learning, from them. And it wasn't like I had that intention of sort of, showing off or anything, but I took to the wheel very, very naturally. And so I had a bit of a conflict because I thought, man, I really like this, but I just took out all these student loans to go be a teacher. So, to switch gears and suddenly do that officially wasn't in the cards yet. So, fast forward 10 years later, I was a school teacher. I taught U.S. history in Maryland at a school called Alexander Middle School. And that was a great experience with all of that. I made a lot of good friends in the teaching world. But every night I'd go home, I'd go down into the basement, and I'd work on the wheel. And it's like sort of living two lives, And
It's like you were a spy for the ceramic world.
world, that's right. That's right. It was like teacher by day, and then I'd rip the tie off and go down the basement at night and just explore making hands. And so I really had a lot of like a lot of time self-teaching, but also I would take seminars where I could. I'd go join like community classes and do weekend workshops and anything I could get my hands on, because it just felt like it was fun, and it was and like I said, I was pretty good at it, but I didn't really have like a mentor or anyone sort of guiding me until like then some crazy things happened. I had a motorcycle accident and decided like, okay, I'm going to drop teaching. I'm going to actually leave Maryland, move to California, and start working with a man named Richard Carter. And he had an art residency program that, in the sort of beautiful area of Napa Valley. It was in Hope Valley. And so, I dropped everything and lived in a goat shed for three years.
Wow.
Yeah. And, all my benefits and all the teaching, the safety of that career, I sort of just let it go because, and I, after having a motorcycle accident, I realized like I'm not going to live forever. And what am I doing if I'm not really following something that I love doing? Not that I didn't love teaching, but it was like I think I was burning out a little bit. I was working with eighth graders, and and started to feel like rather than talk about like, oh, one day I dream of like doing this, thing with clay and developing more. I just said, look, I'm gonna, the mortality, the reality of that possibility after my motorcycle crash made me think, oh, it's, what it's now or never. So I did it, and that I don't have any regrets about letting go of that safety and security and stability of teaching. And, like I said, living in a goat shed and working with a man who had been in the art world for many years. And he wasn't a teacher either. He just said, look, you're here. He basically said, if you copy anyone else, I'll kick you out. If you don't make original work, I'll kick you out. So
I like that.
What is your, what is your purpose? You have to know that answer. I'm here to help you see things and not like teach you technique, or there was no, we're not going to talk about glaze chemistry and anything like that. So it was a real challenging time, but it was, to this day, it dropped a seed in me that I'll, like, it was like sink or swim, I gotta figure this out for myself. And
it's like he threw you in the ocean, like without any life jacket,
Yeah, that's right. And he meant it too. Like he would, I think he had a lot of past, students that were coming through, and in his words, like a lot of them were just there, sort of smoking pot, and they weren't really taking things seriously, and they just, because he had a beautiful property, and it's easy to get distracted in the romantic idea of just, oh, I'm gonna go hang out in the trees, and then maybe I'll make a few pots at the end of the day. And it's like he didn't want any more of that. I came in right after that time where he was just done with students like that, and so he sort of laid the hammer down and said, "This is the way it'll be if you're going to stay here." So,
Cool.
so that was sort of a big leap for me, and I actually got off the wheel when I was there. I realized like the wheel's cool, and it's very good for functional work. All these things behind me, that's all made on a potter's wheel, which is, it's one thing, but to sculpt and to start exploring more artistic, rather than functional things, like more like expression from what you believe in, what you have to say to the world, what you're interested in sharing that way. And so I totally had to like teach myself how to sculpt, and so I can do that as well. I have a lot of more abstract work along with that. So,
yeah,
that was my story to get me to to California, and then so after 3 years there, I had another motorcycle accident, and it seemed to be like this thing where. I kept having these like repeating patterns, but I was also, unfortunately, in America, and I think a lot of places, they just give you painkillers. They give you like prescription opiates, and I got hooked on something called Oxycontin, which is like very powerful. I was in a lot of pain, and it was something I kind of like heard about. Oh, don't get addicted to painkillers, but I never took it that seriously because I'm pretty strong, and I thought, I'll just, I'll do what the doctor says. But I found myself in a whole other world that wasn't going in the right path by the end of my time there in California. So my 3 years was up there, and I basically left California, moved out here to Australia. I've been talking to some people online about a community of like, it's sort of a spiritual based community, people who I would already talk with online prior to that, and there was a group that was forming here. I was curious about it. I thought, I'll just take a break from the hard work I've been doing in clay, and maybe it's time to clean up other areas of my life, and so when I moved over here, I was able to experience withdrawal from America, from prescription painkillers, from the food, from the lifestyle, a lot of things. And,
not in a good shed, I hope.
No, no, I did miss the goat shed, actually. No, this time I was in a community house. There was maybe eight or nine of us, I think, from all different parts of the world. It was from Italy, from France, from Ireland, Newfoundland, America, Australia, and we all were there, sort of interested in a more like community-based, like there was no money involved, which is pretty wild. Like for 6 months, we didn't have to go get jobs, so we just worked there. There was a farm, and there was for income. We all would pull together and help either in the gardens or sell the vegan raw food that we were selling at the markets here in Byron Bay. And so, that sort of led me into the next phase, and brought me to a better grounding within myself, after getting clean and everything else. And I ended up meeting a woman who I married, and then I ended up staying here. So, and even though, we've divorced since, that was, we were married for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And and all that. But you know, a lot of things have happened in the last 11 years since being in this country. You know, I
Wow.
started a whole program with another school here. I created a clay program for primary school students at
Wow.
a school. Yeah, Shearwater. It was like I was working all kinds of different jobs when I first lived here. I didn't know, I was working maintenance here, cutting bush tracks there. I was pulling weeds. I was doing a lot of heavy
Yeah.
labor
You
jobs.
were
And
like the handyman.
yeah, I was. I was I was a maintenance man at a school where my
Yeah.
stepkids were going, and I was like driving around the school. It's a big school, so there's like a campus where I would be driving around and fixing things here and there. And I found like, oh, there's pottery wheels in this shed over here, and there's glazes over there in that shed, and there's a lot of dust sitting on that, you know, pottery equipment. And I just started to slowly pull everything in together into one place.
Mm.
And then you know, I had it all. It was like build it first, and then they will come, sort of thinking. And sure enough, I said, look, to the administration, I said, look, I've been a school teacher, and as you know, and you have all the tools and all the place to do this. Why don't you give me a chance? I'll show you. I could teach play work to the students, and so they took me on. I said, all right, we'll see what you got. And so for a year I did that, and then they hired me full time, and you know, and I started
Okay.
building kilns and developing that even more. So that went
Cool.
all the way up to last November. Yeah.
Wow. What amazing journey, I must say, Ben. Like seriously, like I honor your courage, bravery to share this journey. You know, like surviving 2 motorcycle accidents which were life changing, coming from addiction, getting out of addiction, going through a divorce, separation, and you're still here, breathing and smiling
Still
and
here.
writing a book, you know, and you're still being an author of the upcoming book, Inspired Creators. So, how would you define, you know, like to the list, to the audience right now, how would you define what is an inspired creator according to you? Because I know you said earlier that you're already a creative person. And also, what will they find in your chapter? Not everything. Obviously, they need to go and buy on Amazon, right? On the launch
Right.
day, but
Yeah.
just a snippet. So just go with that.
Uh so to define an inspired creator.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't. It's not like I said one day, this is my purpose, and so be it. It was more like, especially after COVID hit, and
Mm.
and with mandates happening here, and I you know, didn't choose to get vaccinated, so about 45 of us left the school that I just mentioned, and so it was it was kind of a scary time. A little bit, people weren't sure what they were doing, but I had already had everything set up here at home. I had my studio, my kilns, and all that. And people were just starting to come naturally. They wanted to come and learn. You know, my friends would just want to come like on a Friday, and so I had suddenly all these women who were coming here to learn. And I thought, well, if there's people who really want to learn this, then and I have something to offer. Like, it just was like there was a moment that I realized, like, well, this seems to feel like my purpose, and I
Mm.
enjoy it. Like, there's a reward beyond money that's something. um I didn't realize there were that many people interested in it, you know, because I'm pretty isolated. I work by myself mostly, but you know, now suddenly I got people coming to my home and they want to learn.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
that inspired me. It was like
Yeah.
people inspired me to like, you know, like, oh, you want to learn? Okay, I'm a clay nerd. I'll teach you. You know, like, and so um, yeah, I suppose that's what it was. I kept doing what I love doing, and then other people
Mm.
graduate, like, what is the word? Like start to um, gravitate towards
Gravitate
you,
or
and
get attracted to you, you would say?
yeah, and you know, and I had to be clear, like, I'm not gonna do ghost scenes on the pottery wheel with people. I'm not, you know, like, if you want to come and learn, I'm going to show you. And it's hard work. And it's also like, there's a lot of skills that you got to learn to,
Mm,
um, not only in the making, but then there's the
mm,
firing, which is its own art. There's the glaze making. There's like a lot of chemistry and science. And so I feel like that's why I'm here. I created the foundation, and now I'm an official business with it. And, so I'm offering that as a service. That's what I guess
mm,
the inspired aspect of it is. And then my products as well, because I'm digging my own clay. There's a mountain about, I go like a half hour from here and go way up this beat up old road, and I dig this really beautiful orange iron. There's a lot of iron in the clay, and I'm making these things. So
that's
all of
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. There's something about going into the earth, like instead of going to a shop and I
Yeah.
still buy some store bought clay products, of course, but um, yeah, there was a friend of mine. One of my friends actually found that seam of clay. Her name's Bonnie. I mentioned her in the book, but she's like, "Oh, is this clay any good? Can you use it?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course. Why not?" So I started, because to do that, you got to dig it, you got to dry it, you got to crush it, you got to sift out any rocks or roots or organic matter. Then you got to
Mm,
add water to it, and you got to add temper like sand or anything so it doesn't crack in the kiln. How
mm,
much, how little, it all takes testing. So it's a big sort of a process, and to make it so that it's like, hospitality grade for restaurants and for cafes, or it's, you got to test a lot. So there's a lot of broken pots as well that like, oh, that one didn't work, so I got to, add more of this or less of that sort of thing. And
yeah.
but yeah,
It's
summary is
beautiful.
I keep doing.
Yeah, because what you just said, like the broken pieces, for me, I'm thinking in terms of people right now, like some people may be feeling broken at the time, and just like the clay, you can model something beautiful out of it, right? Even of broken pieces, you can make
Yeah,
something beautiful. And
yeah.
you said something twice, I think, and one was with your mentor that you had in the US about finding your purpose. I
Mm,
know we don't have much time, but just briefly, like people listening might say, Ben, I don't know what my purpose is. What are you talking about? So,
mm,
how
mm,
how do you
yeah.
do that? Like, how do you help people to find their purpose through the beautiful work that you do?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell people what their purpose is. I can tell people that you can find your purpose if you really follow what it's cliche sounding, but follow what you're passionate about, follow what you're excited about. It might be, you might like butterflies, you might want to be an expert on, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you have to find whatever that thing is, and it could be whether it's like plants. There's a lot of people around here into what is it called, the symbiotic growing. Like, they
Oh
take
yeah,
they make beautiful gardens. I don't know anything about it, but I love that you go and you talk to them, because like
yeah,
I have a garden, I want it to grow, so I go to them because they
yeah.
know about that. So whatever it is, I feel like there's just like, everyone has a gift. It's not
Mm,
the same gift as the other person, but that's what's awesome. Like, and you gotta like believe that, and you gotta know that, and you gotta believe that and trust that. And the more
yeah,
you do that, and maybe you take classes somewhere to help develop that from someone else who knows, that's what we're here to do. And
yeah.
so if you're, and especially now, because I think a lot of people, um, whether you've come out of the pandemic and you're still working a boring job,
Mm.
maybe you got to do something else. And that's, I think that's a hard thing for people to transition. But I mean, you have to sort of like, maybe you do a little bit of, maybe you have a family, and so you still have to keep that job, but then you come home at night and you do a little bit towards this other thing, your hobby, your passion. Do a little bit, and then that little bit's going to add up, and one day you're going to go make that jump, and you're going to say, all right, now I'm
Yeah,
ready to do this. and get together with other people who like, you
Yeah.
know, are interested in that. And
Be- yeah. Because it's just
yeah,
like the beautiful pieces behind you, you know, like they are different sizes, they are different shape, they are different design, different colors, but still they are
mm,
beautiful, they are shining, right? And they are made out
yeah,
of the same clay, which means we come from one source. So no matter what you're doing, because I can sense your passion about what you do, right? And that's, you exude that passion to everyone, and I can feel it. I'm getting excited about your clay work, you know, even if I don't know anything about it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds exciting. I don't know if will have the patience to do it, to be honest, but you know what, I'm open to
yeah,
try. I'm open
yeah,
to come
yeah,
to Iron Bay and try it with you, man, you know. But
yeah. Please.
I know. Yeah. So look, before we end, you know, like where can people find you, first of all? And
Yeah,
also we will share obviously your social media links, all that.
yeah,
But what is the freebie? Because we know with the book, there's a lot of freebie that each author has offered. So what is
yeah.
the free gift that you're currently giving to our audience? And again, remind yourself to end with telling where they can find you and what's your freebie.
Okay. So
Yep.
there's a couple things there. Uh, One of the things you mentioned that I want to, before it slips out, there's a man who came to me for a lesson, right? And
Yep.
he we're already friends and everything, and he knows he's not going to be a potter. But there was a moment when he was working on the wheel. We spent 4 hours, right? And he finally centered the clay, and there was this moment, and he just, and it was like I saw it happen when it happened, because it's like clay spinning on a wheel is kind of chaotic, and suddenly he got it, and he had his hands in the right way, and he used his whole body, and it connected. And then he just sat there, and he just sat back, and he looked at that, and he looked at me, and he goes, Ben, forget about teaching, you know, how to make a cup or a bowl. Just teach men how to center themselves. So
I
for
love
like,
that.
and he never came back for a lesson again. He had it. That's all he needed. He realized there was something about just that experience. So, so whether you come to me, to really seriously learn, and you want to go through a course or whatever, I can offer that. Um, or if just want to have a go and just see what, if it's, for fun or just something to try.
Yeah.
So,
Obviously, they must come in person, or do you have an online version of like a
yeah,
YouTube channel?
so the way it is right now, I've just established my website is being worked on as we speak. He's nearly finished. One of the students who comes to me, he's doing the website for me, because that's what he does. That's his passion. And so it's going to be wildnatureclay.com.au.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah.
So that'll be here before the book launches in November 11th. So it should be done before then. I know he's right there. He's right now. I can hear him at home, and he's working on it. So that'll be done.
Yeah.
So one place you can find me, and on that website you'll be able to buy my products. Those are the dinnerware, the handmade dinnerware, plates, cups, bowls, all of that. There will be with prices and so on. You'll also be able to book in lessons as my service, and it'll have like a how to book in sort of, and you get to pick what days and times work for you, and that's going to be based on my schedule of availability. And then the freebie that I'm offering, I've got a few of these, but this is like my favorite. Let me try to get it up here. This is like my favorite bowl out of all of the cups and bowls and plates. I eat off of not this particular one, but this size. Don't worry, you'll get a clean one. The freebie's clean. This size, it's a pasta bowl, or a salad bowl, and it's
Yeah.
about I think that's an 8-inch diameter,
Yeah.
and so it comes in that's a sort of a stony iron glaze. All those little speckles of the iron that's coming out of the clay. this is the same size, different glaze color. I'm trying to turn it right. There we go. I've got it in blue. I've got it in different. Yeah, there's another one. Here's one in white. So, and then there's a black one, and I've got a blue one around here somewhere. But so that's the freebie. There's going to be, and that's a $52 value, I guess, as far as a freebie. I might offer as well a free lesson, as a service option as well. So, so that's the website, wildnatureclay.com.au. And then for now, my Instagram is another place you can go. It's Seer and Seen. So it's like SEER underscore AND underscore SEEN. So Seer and Seen.
Cool.
And then on Facebook, Ben Ruble. I'm all over the Facebook as well. So yeah, think I got it all in there.
I think so. Thank you so much. Like Ben, please, people, everyone who is listening right now, just go on wildnatureclay.com.au. Did I get it correctly?
Yeah, it's wild nature, as in like I dig clay in the wild. So wildnatureclay.com.au, and that'll be ready before November 11th. Yeah.
Sweet.
So thank you.
Please go on his website. As you can see, you can feel his passion for ceramic. Even I'm getting excited to go, and maybe I don't know. He will offer me a free lesson, just as part of being co-author. But but see, guys, you just never know who can inspire you. Like today, Ben inspired us, I feel, with his passion, with his life-changing moments. And I can't wait for you to read his chapter, because there he will dig in deep and help you to build from maybe your broken pieces and make a beautiful clay out of it, right? A beautiful piece, whatever it is, and find your passion. So please, guys, go and buy the book on the 11th of November on Amazon. We will send out the link. Please register, go on the wait list, and please go and find Ben Rumble. Thank you so much for your time. Ruble, sorry. I say Rumble. Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
It's okay.
Yeah, my apologies. Ruble.
No worries.
Did I say it correctly?
That's all right.
Thank you.
You got it.
Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate that.